Welcome back into K-Nation. K-State football is on a bye week this week, but that makes it the perfect time to talk about the Cats in the season so far. And we have a very special guest here with us to do that today, Drew Galloway from K-State On3. Drew, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thanks. It's always a blast coming on. I'm excited, and it's been a fun bye week.
Yeah.
Busy bye week, though, but I feel like that's just kind of every week now.
Yeah, of course at this point in the season too. But let's talk about the Cats at this point in the season. Bye week this week, of course, coming off that, we can just call it ugly, that Houston game last Saturday. You were there in person. What'd you see? What'd you maybe not see from this team?
I think that what you wanted to see was probably more consistency in the run game. K-State has been struggling to run the ball really the last 3 games. I know that Connor Riley talked about that after the KU game, that you kind of look up and the stats looked pretty good from the KU game, looking at the run game, but they had a lot of explosive run plays that really kind of inflated their totals. And then the explosive run plays just didn't come against Houston. And I think that's something that they really need to hone in on and really work on during this bye week is, okay, can you get more consistency out of the run game? Because a lot of the passing game for K-State is predicated on the play action, and if you're not running the ball successfully, play action's not going to work.
It's not there. Yeah, absolutely. Well, the run game has also been a point of emphasis, of course, but I want to talk about discombobulated. I don't know what the right word is for it, but is it a concern? What's your take on that?
I think that there's some level of concern because the offense really hasn't looked crisp or sharp really since that first half and maybe even 3/4 of the Colorado game. And then even the West Virginia game, they put up 44 points, but you still saw, okay, the run game wasn't working. The pass game had some explosive plays and led to K-State scoring the 44 points, but you still wanted to see more out of the run game. So I think that it all is predicated on how well K-State is able to run the ball and how the rest of these 3 games are going to go, because you have probably the best running back pair in the Big 12. You have a running quarterback, and so much of how you get into your offense is based on the run game and play action, and that's how the tight ends have gotten so open in the red zone.
Right.
So it all comes down to, are you able to run the ball or not? And K-State just wasn't able to against Houston. So I think that there's some level to concern about that, because you saw that when K-State is a drop-back passing team, that's where the mistakes have happened. And it happened against BYU when K-State got down a lot. K-State had to be able to go into a throw the ball all over the yard kind of game, and that just wasn't working. And then Houston, the weather wasn't good enough to be able to throw the ball. They were throwing they were throwing the ball pretty well for the conditions, but that wasn't a game where you were going to be able to throw the ball 39 times and probably win. And K-State got bit by it. And I think that there was a part of why the game ended up going how it went was because that they were so concerned about their inability to run the ball. So that ends up why you throw with 12 minutes left when you're up 9 instead of running the ball.
Yeah, well, they're missing the DJ Giddens factor, right? Which is what this team needs. And Chris Kleiman talked a couple weeks ago about how this team has split up the season kind of in 3 parts. It was the 5 games before the bye, then the series of road games, then the bye, then the next couple games. What are your thoughts? What do they need to make happen in the next 3?
Yeah, I think that you just want to find more consistency on offense, because it's been just so up and down in these last few weeks that you want to have that. And you also want to have the passing game improve a little bit, and then the pass defense has to take a step forward, because this week against Arizona State, probably not the most explosive passing team because they like to run the ball just like K-State does. But then you look ahead to Cincinnati. Cincinnati likes to throw it a lot, and then Iowa State has really capable receivers and a really good quarterback in Rocco Becht. So you want to see more improvement. I will say, though, that these last 3 games, getting 2 of them at home are huge for K-State, because you would hope to go 2-0 in these next few weeks, and then you may or may not have a kind of winner-take-all to get to Arlington against Iowa State to end the season.
Right. Well, it's going to be a fun stretch to watch. And, Drew, it's always a pleasure having you on. Out of time. We could talk all day, but hey, now we can just watch the Cats for the next couple weeks. Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us, and stick around, folks. We've got more K-Nation coming up after this.